Welcome to the home of original sports perspective. From our couch to yours, this is your host, Jermaine Lockett. And I have with me today another sports talk host, Justin P. Man, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for having me on, Jermaine.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and what you represent.
Local guy here in Baltimore, Maryland, man. Hard-working, blue-collar guy. Coach youth football, So I just love the game, man. And I also have a podcast myself on Spotify called KTSC Sports Talk with Justin P. Make sure y'all check that out on Spotify and Anchor. And I also have my YouTube channel where I drop like daily vids. And I talk about every sport, not just the NFL, the NBA, college basketball, college football, soccer, wrestling, MMA, boxing, you name it, all that good stuff.
There you go. I love it.
So y'all can go ahead and subscribe to that. I know Jermaine just subscribed earlier. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
I'm at 89 subscribers, trying to get to 100, man, soon. So yeah, I'm just keep bringing y'all that fire, man. Great talks of Ravens football, my guy.
Absolutely, man. Build the kingdom. I heard you was in a coaching. So what position are you just a head coach or?
No, defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator. I guess that's why we talk about what we about to bring up tonight. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I never did. I didn't fall in love with D straight up with when I started being a Ravens fan, and I'd say started because I grew up in the 90s, and when you grow up in Louisiana. And your parents are from Maryland, and my parents were from Maryland, but hey, they became Saints and Cowboys fans when they moved down to Louisiana, had me. And so it kind of messed things up a bit, because they were like, hey, choose. And I'm like, what?
It's funny you say that because the Cowboys were my favorite team before the Ravens got here.
Yes. And so I was a Ravens fan all the way up until 99. And I remember the exact second I switched over. My favorite player, the playmaker, Michael Irvin. He got hurt in the Eagles game. And it was just a simple catch. And he just got kind of just pushed into the ground. And that's when you saw the neck injury happen. And we thought it wasn't big, but it ended up being bigger than it was. And, of course, he ended up going down. And that was the end of his career. And it was so frustrating. And then, so I'm flipping channels. And I'll tell you what I saw, bro. On the next channel, I'm seeing, normally I went outside when defense came on the field, but it was the Ravens. And I told my uncle, I was like, hey, this will be my second team because he put a hat on me when I went to Baltimore just to go visit. Okay. And he was like, I was like, hey, that's a nice hat. We were eating crabs in Maryland, of course, with grandma and them. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's yours, boy. So he puts his hat on me. It was a pretty awesome hat. I don't know if I got it sitting around somewhere, but yeah, he put the hat on me. I say, hey, yeah, I'll take a look at him. So I stuck around, and I was so frustrated behind Michael Irvin and his injury. But I flipped the channel, and what do I see? Ray Lewis hemming up a corner after he made a dumb play. It was a defensive penalty or whatever. And this corner just kind of took it. He didn't curse him, whatever. At least that's what it didn't look like, whatever. But Ray was kind of getting at him, In the very next play, this corner scores a pick six. And I'm like, I should watch defense. From that point forward, your boy was a Ravens fan. I haven't looked back, That was, it's my team that I own for me. The other team with the Dallas Cowboys, it was something that I owned for my, I guess it was more to get close to my stepfather and to learn football in general. So, of course, Cowboys fan, but hey, I haven't looked back. I've enjoyed this struggle with quarterbacks and then, of course, Lamar Jackson, just enjoying that and just a crazy Ravens defense. I mean, just with these two guys right here, just amazing watching their journey and seeing both of them hit the Hall of Fame. Just wow, blown away.
It's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. So tonight we're going to talk about some defense here, and the Ravens they do all right. They have a formula, they stick to it. They try to stick in that top 10 of defense, no matter how bad a defensive coordinator appears to be. We've had rough ones like Greg Madison and Dean Pease, who kind of just give it up. They give up all the yards and stuff, but they have a bend don't break type of defense. Like even when Dean Pease gets us all, like he gives up all these yardage to get us down to like the 20-yard line. They bend, but they don't break, and that's just John Harbaugh's formula. And it doesn't match everybody else's script because that's just the way he rolls. He wins games because he's a hard person to game plan for, no matter who's his coordinator. But we want to talk about this year's defense. This year's defensive rankings they were fourth overall in the league. So I think it was a pretty impressive ending for their defense, because I mean we do have some stars on there, but we also have some holes. We want to just talk a few things about those, and just want to get your opinion on a couple of things. We'll start off with question number one. Who do you think the most improved defensive player was in 2020?
Most improved.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Justin Metabuke.
Okay. You gotta give us some background on that.
Yeah, because for him to have no preseason, no training camp, no rookie minicamp, and when he got a chance to play when Calais Campbell and all them out, he held his own. He had a sack or two, and he was stopping the run.
Absolutely.
Teams weren't just running all over top of him. He grew up real quick, and to do that, in the midst of not having no type of preparation, I was pleased.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think with the way that people, they got kind of mad at me when I say, hey, we can probably get rid of Big Baby and save about $7.5 million on the cap before he did that restructure. I was like, hey, this let's save some money, and everybody was like, just no, kill him, hurt him, whatever. They want to hurt me bad, man. I went on Twitter and said I might have had a good 20 comments. You crazy? You don't understand what Big Baby does for the, Brandon Williams. And don't get wrong, like I like Brandon Williams, but I was like, hey, got to save money. We got Earl Thomas issues over here. We got we're trying to get a number one wide receiver, $7.5 million to walk around with when you got Matic BK sitting there able to fill that void easily. I was like, let's do it. But of course, they figured out another way to keep him along with the restructuring. So I think that was smart. It's a great choice. I think I was going to go with Patrick Queen. And the reason I say that is because he didn't even start in college, but a couple of games. He came in because somebody else got injured or he outplayed him. But he went from the bottom all the way up to being a first round pick, and then just continuing on with that reign. I mean, the guy had 106 tackles, led the team. I mean, got to give it up to Chuck Clark too, because Chuck, he was like just behind him with like 96 tackles. Dude had, I think he had 3 sacks, and then I think he had a pick. So I was like, wow, dude is definitely balling, coming from not even starting at LSU to being able to play at such a premier level as a rookie. I was like, wow. So I guess we'll be able to see even more from him as he goes forward, and from Matabike. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can offer on that line, because if he adds to the Monstars, this team is just going to get so much better against the run.
I agree.
What about next question? Let's see. Which position is going to be our biggest need this offseason?
Oh, pass rush, man. That's what about, because we have strength in numbers at corner. We have Marlon Humphrey there, Marcus Peters. Like I said, Tavon Young. I don't see him getting hurt again like he did last year. We have Jimmy Smith back for a 1-year deal. So definitely edge rush. Right now we currently only have Parnell McPhee, Jalen Ferguson, and Tyus Bowser, who we just re-signed. And he had a pretty good year, and he deserved it. So, but you just can't go into a season with just 3 edge rushers. So it's definitely
Yeah, you gotta be able to give somebody a blow, because it's they're gonna get tired really quick. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like Matt Judon, I wasn't as big on him even the year we franchised him. I
wasn't even, so don't feel bad. He's a system guy. He's not a guy that's just gonna take over the ball game like Khalil Mack, Chandler Jones, Vaughn Miller. He's not one of those guys. TJ Watt, them guys are going to take over the ball game. Judon is a product of the system. Good player. I mean, like I said, I hope he does well in New England, but he just wasn't worth the price tag.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats from the 2019 season. I felt that they were inflated because every time that he got a sack, it was against a tight end. It was when he had full on more than 4 people blitzing, thanks to the scheme. It was the schematic thing. And then I think he's got some money in PFF, or he's investing in them because they beefed him up and saying that he had the most pressures in the league. Well, sure, I could run pretty fast past the quarterback, whatever, and take the bad angle and get credit for it. Right. And I think that's kind of what happened with Judon. He was getting a lot of credit for all of those for speed rushing and taking bad angles and beating tight ends. it just didn't make sense that he got that much credit and was able to, stack up his funds that way. I'm sitting here and you go look at the tape even from last year, those sacks against tight ends. I'm like, why are they lining these tight ends on them? It didn't make sense because they were doing one-on-one matchups.
I agree. And then a lot of his sacks came from the secondary, making them hold the ball too. So
yes, those are coverage sacks, and so you got coverage sacks. Eventually, you're gonna get to them, or it's gonna be a hold down.
He never had that game. He just took over the game and just was dominant. 4 or 5 sacks, a couple tackles in the backfield. Yeah, I never saw that game from him. So,
man, that's the thing. I was like, okay, cool. We're not gonna pay $18 million for that. That's not happening. And then you have was it Yannick? I mean, Yannick came in. I'm thinking, hey, this dude is gonna be the final piece. With him, I think when he came in, I was like, hey, this is it. We're going to the dance. And then only get 3 sacks out of him. I was like, bro, we got the same performance out of you that we got out of our rookie inside linebacker. So it doesn't make sense to even pay him either. I was like, and it just didn't make sense to pay any outside linebacker crazy big money, even in free agency right now. I mean, people are yelling about Ingram and all this, but I mean, they still gonna drag him just like they dragged Sammy Watkins when he signed with us because people are just not satisfied with anything in Ravens Nation. But right. I think if they go into they got to go after something in the draft. And I got a guy I really love is Boogie Basham out of Wake Forest. I mean,
Basham, yeah. I like that.
He reminds me so much of Suggs. I feel like this guy could just come out there and fit right into what we do and just ball out.
I'm a Miami Hurricane fan, so I'm a little biased with these two guys. I want to see us get Jalen Phillips and Gregory Rousseau.
Okay, I like Rousseau.
I'm a diehard Miami Hurricane fan, so I definitely want us to take a look at one of my two games.
Yeah, seems like Baltimore is becoming Florida North. So
yeah,
everything from Florida.
Or Zaven Collins, I like him as well.
Yeah, there was definitely some top picks there that they were top 5, I believe, on the list between those guys. Let's go to this next question here. Who do you think, or actually, who is the Ravens ball hawk? Do they have one?
As of right now, probably Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters absolutely do what? He had 4 picks this past season. Yeah, I mean, he was doing all right.
Year before he had 5, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, he had 5, and I mean,
he ran 3 of them back for touchdowns.
Oh yeah, Duke and ball, and he took a page out of Humphrey's book this year and started.
Yeah, it out. Yeah. But how safeties they have to get their hands on the football because how there's nowhere in the world in a passing league. Yeah. You starting safety, neither one of them get an interception.
Absolutely, and it's because Chuck wasn't expected to be either. He was expected to be more of the guy who remembers the plays and where everybody's supposed to be at. So he's a leader. He's just not a chance taker. When you have those people who, like with Ed, if you look up Ed's stats, he probably gave up the most plays of over 20 yards in probably team history, but he made those big plays because he took chances. And we don't have that guy who's going to take chances right now as far as just, be willing to be wrong, but to be in position. And that is, Peters will do that. He'll jump something real quick. But they also used to call him Burnt Toast Peters when he was in other spots, when he was with the Rams and when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. They were calling him Burnt Toast Peters because he would get burnt out because he would take those chances and try to make those picks. And I like a guy who takes chances and is willing to be wrong, but willing to be great.
Yeah, I agree too. Like I said, Marcus Peters definitely will be our ball hawk. Like I said, sometimes it can hurt us, like it did against Kansas City when he jumped the underneath route when he's supposed to stay deep.
Yeah,
and McCole Hartman got us. But other than that, like I said, at least we know he gonna at least try to make a play for us.
Yeah.
So safety could be a position we could try to draft, but I like Deshaun Elliott. But like I said, he has to get his hands on the football.
Absolutely. I do love that hit he put on King Henry. I mean, he brought that boy to his knees.
Yeah, he definitely laid King Henry down.
I kept watching the aftermath. Not only the hit, the fact that Henry kind of was leaned over, walking over to the sideline with his neck hurt. Like, yo, y'all need to come check me out, man. I get the number on that bus because he gave me the business, bro.
He said you ain't gonna use me like a lead block like you did my guy Earl Thomas.
Yes. Yeah, he ain't gonna be using no lead block. Ain't no lead blockers over here. Earl getting whooped by Nina right now, so he can't. I know he couldn't handle the king. That boy. But yeah, we just need somebody. And the problem with the chance takers when it comes to safety, Harbaugh has an issue. He has an issue with those people who think more outside the box when it comes to his secondary type players. Like remember Chris McAllister?
Yeah.
MCal had a problem with John as soon as John came in, and then it was like in no time, MCal was benched, then kicked off the team, and then he was playing for the Saints, and he was out of the league after he had signed a huge contract and was like making $58 million. Right. And it was because of the pride that John has when it comes to how he rules his secondary or rules his defense in general. It's like he doesn't allow them to be empowered as much. Yes, it's been changed. The culture has been changing a little bit more, but he doesn't want it to go back to what it was when Ray and Ed were running the show. And I think that's that was like organized chaos, and there was more trust between DPs and between the defense, not DP, excuse me, Rex Ryan and the defense back in the day. Like there was a trust thing, and then right now it's not as much of a trust thing when it comes to Harbaugh and those schemes. He's like, hey, if it screwed up, Harbaugh's going to blame the player before he blames the coaches, and I don't think that's right. You got to blame. It's got to be a balance of, hey, what went wrong. Don't just hire your homies and say, oh, it's cool when they mess up, but don't hold them accountable, and then hold the players accountable fully. So let's move into the. You got comments on that?
I completely agree, man. Like I said, because the player only going to do what the scheme is allowing them to do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, for example, if Joker got deep third, but he can't take a chance on the ball, he just got to play with the design coverage. So it's like, how can you expect him to really take away routes if you don't want him to take no chances on deep posts and stuff like that?
Absolutely. That's why Ed got kicked out of Houston. He got run out of Houston because they had a 3 safety system over there, and they hired a free safety to be in a 3 safety system that requires structure. And Ed don't have that. Ed is like the very definition of free. He likes to roam and do what he do.
Yeah, like because nobody's gonna throw the ball straight to you.
Yeah. No,
unless it's Jameis Winston, that's it. So
Jameis throw all them effort balls.
Effort. Yeah, so any other quarterback that you gonna have to be in the right spot to get him, especially Peyton Manning. You know how hard it is to intercept Peyton Manning passes.
For real, because everything that he does pre-snap was just
that's what I'm saying. So Ed Reed was the only person to continuously get him. Because remember one play, Ed Reed would creep up like at the middle of the field, and just dart back out there. He had to actually think he was open.
This cat baited people, man. He was
back there, and then and just pretty much just dart back there full speed and just make a play on the ball. Everybody can't do that.
Yeah, he baited him so bad. I loved it. Absolutely loved how he baited that dude. And
it's about reading your keys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we have to bring a guy in that's. I mean, basically, Harbaugh's got to know, like, you got to let this guy, whoever he brings in, you got to let him do them for a little bit. Make them mistakes, but take those chances. Let's see what we got here. We got our next question is, what are your thoughts on Anthony Averett?
Good corner. He just got to stay more disciplined.
Yeah. And I think he had a bad shake. Because he had to come in and try to do something in the slot when he's normally an outside guy. And he kind of like that Houston game was just a bad game for him. He was trying to, they were trying to ask a lot out of him after Young got hurt.
Right.
And he wasn't able to do that. And he was getting exposed a bit and picked on, and then all of a sudden he started to put it together towards the end of the season. And, my thing is I watched him live, and there was a play against Kansas City 2 years ago and it wasn't his fault. I'll be honest. I looked at the tape, and and it was a huge burnout play by McCole Hardman. First of all, McCole was offsides when this play happened. His toe was clearly over the line, and then he goes and burns out for a touchdown. But it was just a miscommunication between who had who, and for I think Kansas City saw the mismatch because they were crossing each other up. And then he just, McCole ended up on the outside and they tried to blame Averett and they benched him for the whole game on this. But like at the end of the season, Averett was able to put tape together. As long as he's on the outside, he can be just, I ain't saying he's no Marlon Humphrey, but he has the speed element and he's able to shadow players. Kind of like, let's see, remember Kerry Williams? You there, my man? Hold up. Justin, you there, man?
Yeah, everybody played bad against Kansas. Hold on.
Yeah.
I can hear you a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I can't hear you like that.
I don't know. It's probably this mic. Let me see if I can turn it up a bit with the game. How's that?
I can hear you a little better now. Yeah, but Anthony Averett not bad. He got speed, physical. He will tackle. They just gotta just trust him. That's all.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like he's probably like a little bit of like Kerry Williams. Kerry was a good shadower, when it came, and he had a decent speed to keep up with players. He worked his way from the basically from the bottom of the depth chart to the top. When he got to the top, he started talking more trash, and that's when the game kind of went a little bit south. But I think it's probably going to take him, it's going to take Averett, more reps. He needs more of those reps in order to put his game up on let's say a Jimmy Smith or Humphrey Love, whatever. But he's got that speed, and they're not going to want to get rid of him as long as he's got that speed like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll put the mic in. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so we got the next question was, how will Wink Martindale make up for the departure of Yannick Ngakoue and Matt Judon?
I'm guessing he won't blitz like crap like he's already been doing.
He's going to send the whole house, just everybody, clear the bench, everybody at the same time. We'll take the penalty. Just go get him.
Yeah, man. Or we're going to have to rely on some rookies to step up because I want us to get Jadeveon Clowney or Justin Houston, but I don't know how our money will look, our finances is looking right now. So
as long as they do a 3-game contract with Jadeveon Clowney, I'm good.
3-game contract, Lord have mercy.
That's all he good for. You saw it with Seattle. I mean, and then you see it with Tennessee. This man, he give you a good 3 games, solid performance, and after that, it's either bad.
I don't know what happened to him because coming out of South Carolina, man, he was supposed to be what Myles Garrett is right now.
Yeah, they said the same thing about Sammy. Sammy was supposed to be what DeAndre Hopkins is, because
absolutely, because he was the better receiver at Clemson.
Yeah. And it was just, I saw it from jump. I'll be honest with you. When it came to Sammy, I looked at the tape and I saw a guy who couldn't beat the jam. He couldn't beat the jam in college, and all of a sudden he gets to the pros, and Prince Amukamara kind of just jammed him up. And it was just, I was like, okay, he's not going to be this dude everybody thought he could be.
Prince Amukamara not even a fast corner. You know what I'm saying? So if you let him jam you, what you going to do when Jalen Ramsey and them guys jam?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, this dude is a number 2 receiver from the jump. But I mean, he did help Tyrod flourish. I give him that.
Right, he damn sure did. He got Tyrod paid. They gave Tyrod a massive extension after that year too.
Mm-hmm. And then Robert Woods. I kept telling everybody when Robert Woods was Tyrod, that was Tyrod's guy too. But it was like Sammy. I'm hoping he's able to do more here. I want to see him be able to face off with our top corners in practice and be able to flourish and just sharpen his skills a bit. Just be like, all right, look, this is what I do to get off this jam, and this is where I can find these sneaky holes in the defense, because he's got some of that game already from Pat Mahomes gave him a couple of tips about just, hey, you open, sit down in that hole, I'll get you. He was coaching him up a bit. I mean, and he worked with Goff, and Goff helped him a bit on his game. So hopefully, if he can stay healthy, he'll be straight. But we on defense. I got off track for a second, but I feel like Clowney is he'd be a good addition. It's just like you said, if we got the depth to where we can give him a breather here and there, it'll help us out. I think it'll help a bit. What do you think? Are you there?
Uh,
Okay.
hold on. Wait, hold on. Say that again, Jermaine. I'm sorry, I was reading the text.
I was just saying, like, with Clowney, do you think if he his shelf life would last a little longer per season if we follow your advice and say get Def for at the position?
Yeah. Because here he's going to actually be able to play a lot more freely. I think Wink is going to use his strengths, as an asset. As him stopping the run because he's a hell of a edge. He's a hell of a run defender. Like he stops the run like nobody's business.
Yeah, I
And
like the
people
way they
forget
used him
it.
in Houston.
Yeah, in Houston, that's why I said Roman Cornell using the best. He actually had 9.5 sacks, two straight seasons there before he got
Wow.
hurt. So he can get pressure.
Mm,
It's just that you have to let him do him. He's going to line up wide and all that because when healthy, man, he is a problem.
absolutely. I
'Cause
like the fact that
Ags,
they used him in Houston to blitz up the middle too. Like he was really good at that.
yeah, because he's 270 pounds, so he can rush from the inside and outside.
Yes.
So he definitely will be an asset. Like I said, as long as we stay healthy. Like I said, Wink Martin, they'll let him have one-on-ones, which he probably gonna win 8 times out of 10. So that'll
Mm.
generate his sacks up to them than having the secondary we have here. They're gonna hold the ball. They're gonna hold the quarterback's gonna have to hold the ball. That's gonna give him time to get there.
Yep. What's the what do you think his contract will look like if we sign him?
Probably like depends. We can count on you 26, 27.
Yeah.
Uh 2, 3 years, 2, 3 years, probably give him like probably like a $10 million a year net. No more like between 8 million to 10 million a year.
Okay.
Probably like 2 years, probably like $16 million, something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. Yeah, I see 8 million a year.
Yeah, that's just the benchmark, you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
of the injury history. So it could probably, they probably will give him like 10, no more than 10 though, but
Yeah.
so
That's
something around that ballpark.
yeah. Right now, I see them, kind of throwing something like disrespectful out there, like, all right, we'll pay you like 6'5", and he probably like kind of like what, and they probably went shopping around the other teams just to see if they can beat that offer. I feel like Baltimore Ravens going a little cheap right now, and I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what happened with Sammy. I feel like Sammy thought, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna catch the ball as much here, and Baltimore's coming at me with a cheap deal. Let's see what I can get out of Indy. And Indy probably said the exact same numbers or maybe lower. And then they probably just said, oh, he being disrespectful? Okay, we're going to sign TY and, and call it a day. And then that's when we got Sammy back because I think EDC is just he's very savvy when it comes to these contracts to make sure he's one not doing like the Saints and trying to go into negative like crazy. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, because they were what 40. They started out $49 million in debt when the year started when the off season started.
Yeah, I think they cleared most of it up,
Yeah, and that's
but
because
they definitely, but to be in that predicament right there, it's like, woo.
it's just
They
a
had they had to pay Taysom Hill a ransom contract just to clear cap space.
yep. And then of course I imagine them throwing more money on the back end. Like next year, it's probably gonna hurt just as bad because they were trying to they dropped a lot, but at the same time they were still trying to keep vets and stuff. So
Hmm.
and signing other players, so they probably threw some back money that's gonna hurt them probably next year as well. But EDC is just a lot smarter than that because he had a great mentor in Ozzy. I mean, who mentored him all the way up. I mean, I can't. Can you believe this guy was driving people from the airport for
Hmm.
Ozzy to the field, and then just basically gets caught up to the and just says, you know what, let me take you under my arm, young man. We gonna get there.
He
I'm
been with the organization since he was 25 years old.
Yeah, that is amazing just to see the growth and somebody trusting someone that much just to see them go from a scout or excuse me, just go from a basic underling or whatever, little flunky to scout to player personnel to this, and then just to pay him GM money before he even became a GM because the Seahawks was wanting him. They wanted him bad.
Hmm.
All right, so we got the final question of the night. How do you think this defense will change with all of the new coaches? It was like a mass exodus last season, man, or this offseason. Excuse me.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Cullen, man. I think he's gonna do great in Jacksonville.
Absolutely, I think so.
That's gonna hurt because he's a pass rush architect.
Mm-hmm.
because he can take me and you and have us probably get 10 sacks, man. That's how good of a pass rush
I
coach
know
he
I'm
is.
37, man. I don't think I got maybe two in me. I got
But yeah, see, I bet me 32, so I ain't too far behind. But yeah, he just get the most of them guys. Remember that year, what was it 2018 when we went down Tennessee and had like 12, 13 sacks?
oh yeah,
They
yeah.
all gave him the game ball because, like I said, because the work he puts them through and
Mm.
the techniques.
I
So that's
he
gonna
had
be a big
Darius
blow.
Smith too.
Yep, like I said, yep. And, and all Joe Cullen, man, his pass rush drills are amazing. But
Absolutely.
getting Rob Ryan was a big plus, you
Yeah.
know, because he come from that Ryan family pedigree. So
Yes.
they just breed defensive football over there. So
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Weaver, former defensive lineman here, then he
Oh
went to
yeah.
Houston. He's back home. So like I said, as long as we get the pieces, because you could be a great coordinator, coach, but you still need the pieces. You
Yes. I'm
still need
curious
the
how Rob
pieces.
Ryan's contribution is going to be because when Rob and Rex coached together in Arizona, Rob, of course, was the defensive line. Excuse me, Rex was the defensive line guy, and Rob was more of the secondary. And I remember there was a guy that was in Oakland. He really helped coach up pretty well. He had a really odd name. I can't remember what the name was. Oh boy. Yeah, but
You
he,
might
um,
you might be talking about Paul Pasqualoni.
not Pascaloni. This guy's name was just out there. He ended up being one of the top corners in the league, like right around the time when Asante Samuel
Oh,
and
you talking about Namdi Asamoah.
Nnamdi Asomugha. That's who it was. Yeah, so he's the one who helped coach up Nnamdi, and I think he can do some things as secondary. But when it came to his interior line, you could see that every time he got fired as a coach is because they were lacking in the run stop.
Yeah.
They just couldn't seem to stop the run stop. But now I think he was a linebackers coach now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what he brings to the table. If he actually learned a couple things from coordinators along the way, when his time with the Saints and other places, hopefully
Mm-hmm.
he's learned some things to make those linebackers take it to the next level, or maybe just bring some of those skills where, as far as the pass coverage, maybe make those linebackers just that much better in the pass game.
Yeah. Because Patrick Crane he can cover. He can run like the wind. That's why we drafted him to cover guys like Gronkowski, Darren Waller, Travis Kelsey,
Oh yeah,
Kittle, all those hybrid tight ends that are just
mm-hmm.
running like deers now.
Yeah,
And Malik Harrison, same thing with him. He's a thumper, but he can always cover it. That's why LJ Fort was released, and because we can't let Malik Harrison not develop.
yeah, absolutely. Sometimes when it comes to veteran players, they bury these talents that are sitting underneath,
Yep,
and it
yep,
doesn't allow them to grow. We saw that with the wide receivers with Derek Mason. We love Derek; he was a great
yep.
savvy vet, but it's because of him that we didn't get to see, some of those younger wide receivers come out and ball. And it wasn't
Hmm.
until that next year that things started to really flourish when they got rid of here's send TJ Houshmandzadeh on his way, send Derek on his way, and then let the young guys come up.
Yeah, because that's when we drafted Torrey Smith and all, and he was able to get on the field.
Yeah. And
Because
then
had we kept those two, Torrey Smith wouldn't have no impact his rookie year.
yeah. I feel like we
Yeah, because Tandon Dawson, those guys definitely was buried in the depth chart.
yeah. I like Tandon. Oh man.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. Touchdown Tommy Streeter from Miami, another Miami Hurricane guy. We
Yes.
would forget about Tommy Streeter.
Yeah, I can't believe they kept putting him on injury reserve, saying, "Oh, he had like
Uh,
a finger or ankle injury." I'm like,
6'5", 6'5", ran a 4.3 4. I'm like, why don't use my guy?
yeah, they didn't use him. They said here they knew what he had, so they tried to put him on that little injury reserve for like small issues, and they was gonna give him another
Mm-hmm.
shot next year. But I was like, dude, y'all got to give these guys a shot. Tandon deserved a shot, but he was definitely in John's doghouse because him and Joe had a miscommunication during a preseason game, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that, they just kind of dogged him out and put him on special teams.
Remember DeVar Darling?
Yes, I remember Darling. Yeah, he was like 6'4".
Yeah. Yep. Number 81. That was 81 before we got Bolton. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
thought he
they
was
ain't
pretty
use him.
solid. Then there was a dude named Moore. Huge. This guy was huge. And the only reason I
Clarence Moore.
Clarence Moore.
6'6" kid. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
basketball player. He was a beast catching the jump ball. That was when the Brian Billick days.
Absolutely. I miss them Brian Billick days sometimes, man, because Brian come out there and he'll confuse the heck out of the press conference. Everybody in the presser, he'll throw a $15 word up. Aaron's just like, yeah, we got to go Google that word later. Yeah, he did. He deliberately does this just to mess with people's heads.
Yeah.
But I guess his message got old, and then that's when, of course, John had to come through and fix some things. But I think so. We talked about the defense. We talked about AA and talked about all that. Let me just read off a couple of stats here before we go. I had to look these up because I was like, man, this team they did all right this year. They only had like 10 picks on the year. That could have been a little bit better. They had 39 sacks, and we definitely got to improve in that category. I wanted to go back to in like 2006 when we had we in the 50, 56 sacks or whatever on the season, just beast.
Yeah.
That's what I missed. That we should have won that Super Bowl that year. I mean, Peyton Manning kind of destroyed our hopes and dreams.
Yeah, that was the 15-6 game, man. If we just would have got one touchdown, man, that defense was stout. That defense, listen, statistically, was probably just as good as the 2000 Raven defense.
Yeah, and then what was it? Peyton didn't even score a touchdown that game.
No, they won 15. They won 15-6, all field goals.
All field goals. I'm like, we couldn't get one touchdown, and Ty Heat fumbles the ball. I'm like, oh my god.
Then we get to the goal line, right? We throw a jump ball to Heat, then he lets Bob Sanders take the ball from in the end zone in a pick.
Yeah.
Jamal Lewis bust his butt down there to get us to the end zone, and we returned the football over. I'm like, wow.
That one thing I loved about Jamal, man. He was gonna thump. He was gonna thump whoever, whenever. When it came to contact,
and he sneakily, and he had good hands sneakily.
Oh yeah,
he can catch at the backfield sneakily. He just didn't. They just wouldn't ask to do it as much, like how Ray Rice was.
Yeah, and it's just like the second he got, it was like contact. This dude would drive through contact. Like second he got contact, them legs, you just see him continue to churn until he could get loose.
Right, Cleveland had 12 men on the box. Yeah. 12 men in the box. You know what I mean? There's only 11 on the field. They still couldn't stop him on that day.
Bust out. It's like a jailbreak, like he had a cell phone drug deal, like back in 2002. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh well, we better get it. We gotta end this show, man. But I have really enjoyed talking to you. I'm hoping everybody else is going to enjoy this just as much as we have. We got to get up some more. We'll do a couple more shows, and we'll see what technology I can bring to the table on the midst of that, man.
Got you, man. I want to have you on my show as well, too, man. This is great, man. I had a blast, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks for y'all coming down for the home of original sports perspectives from our couch to yours. This is Jermaine, and this is Justin signing out, man.